We all wound up down in sick bay. We couldn't stop screaming. Our heads were hurting so bad, and there was no record of it. There still is no record of it. They say there's nothing. My name is Janick, and I was on board USS Newport LST-1179 from 1970 in January all the way up until January or the end of December 1972-73. I had 3 brothers and 1 sister. My parents were divorced young, and we had to unfortunately live with my father. Didn't get along too well with him. He didn't get along with me. I had a lot of fun with my siblings. I kept sneaking them over by my ma and stuff. You just had to do that. They wanted to see their mother, so I took them to see her behind my dad's back. That's why we fought. It's not one that I originally wanted. I went to a high school where the social worker there wanted to put me back into 7th grade again. So I decided I'm not going to come to this school. See ya. So I ran away from home. I wound up going out to see Woodstock. And then I lived in Nashville, Tennessee, where I got to perform at the Grand Ole Opry as a secondary musician and backup singer for a little bit. Came home on New Year's Day in 1970. By the end of the month, I was in the Navy. Oh God, I had such a blast. I was having so much fun. I had so many friends on board that ship. They put me in the bosun's department, the deck department, and I served with a bunch of great guys and got to see so many different wonderful places. The med cruise, and we did the very first med cruise on board that ship, and we did the Caribbean cruises. I can't tell you how many times. Got lost in the Bermuda Triangle for 3 days and 4 nights with 60-foot swells, and just had a blast though. My hearing loss came about because I was up on the signal bridge, and I was a lookout on the starboard side, and we had a target with us, and we were doing this target practice with members of the 6th Fleet. Because we were the first of a new class of ships, we never shot off our guns before. So this is the first time that, the gunners were going to be shooting those big cannons off on the ship. We had 2 3-inch 50 gun mounts. So I'm up on the signal bridge, and all I had was my radio that I had communication on the bridge. And for lookout, I said, boy, this is a front row seat. How cool is this? Well, they shot those guns off. There were 5 of us. We wound up getting hearing loss. I had blood running down my hands from my ears. It felt like somebody took 2 pencils or chopsticks or something, put them in your ears and just slammed them in. And it was a headache. Oh, the worst thing I ever felt in my life. And I'm on my knees screaming, holding onto my head and covering my ears, and those guns just kept going off. And finally they stopped, and we're still up there screaming. We all wound up down in sick bay. We couldn't stop screaming. Our heads were hurting so bad. Now I have to wear hearing aids all the time. In fact, I got to turn them back on. I was having some visual problems. I used to be able to see almost like the eye of an eagle. And I couldn't see. I was trying to collect coins. I loved looking at American coins and collecting them. I couldn't even see my coins that much anymore. So I started losing interest in it. And it was upsetting to me. I was getting upset over a lot of little things over and over and over. And I didn't like that, didn't know why. Later on, I found out it was called PTSD. And I thought, what? How the heck did I get that? And it was service related. And I didn't realize it. But there were a lot of things I didn't know. There's a lot of things that happened to us while we were on board a ship. Maybe we're inhaling chemicals, from different solvents or whatever that were doing something to your body, and you just didn't know it. Well, our ship was built in 1968, commissioned in 69. I boarded her in 70, every time that we chipped any paint, we had red lead. And it's a primer that we had to use on the metal. And that it had to safeguard the ship. Otherwise, you're going to get all of this rust and deterioration. You know, we breathe that stuff in. And the ship had so much asbestos on board. And some of the pipes and the insulation, you know, was deteriorating. So we'd take some tape and put tape on it and clean it up, pull the stuff out and put it in a bag. And sometimes you'd stuff it back in there. And we're breathing this stuff. And we didn't know what it was or anything like that. We hadn't heard about it. And this was in the early 70s. And a lot of the guys on board my ship were susceptible to it. It was rough. I went to the VA because I wound up getting a medical discharge, an honorable discharge under medical conditions. And they denied everything. They didn't have all the records of my health problems that I had while I was on board the ship. Things that happened to me, like I lost my hearing on board the ship when the gun mounts went off. Then I got like a 36-page thing, and it was saying, resend, this is denied, that's denied, and this is denied, it's not service-related, and la-da-da-da. My tinnitus, the hearing aids, the hearing loss that I have, that's not in there, it's denied. I'm like, what? And then he said something about headaches. Well, yeah, I had headaches. My God, I passed out on the ship. I hit my head on the deck. I had a goose egg on the back of my head, about the size of not a goose egg, but I'd say a tennis ball. They didn't have all of the records, the medical records on board our ship because our corpsman never really kept records. He didn't like writing. He just liked doing, and that was about it. Because of somebody that I knew, he introduced me to Woods and Woods, and I finally made the call. I was skeptical. I was very skeptical at first because I didn't think that anybody could help me. And being denied the way I was and told flat out, no, you can't get a thing. Well, when I called over there, I said, let me see what we can do. I think that you've got a case. I said, what? How am I going to have a case? Well, they called me up and they told me that I had a certain percentage. I said, excuse me? Are you serious? A few days later, I wound up getting a check in the mail. And I was dumbfounded. I sat in the kitchen with my wife and I looked at this and I didn't realize it. I was crying. I still get choked up thinking about it because I couldn't believe that Woods and Woods did this for me. And it was just the most amazing thing that happened to me for a long time. Then the woman said, I'm not done. We don't think that that's enough. We're shooting for 100%. Are you gonna try for 100%? Are you serious? You think that I've got enough things wrong with me that happened in the service that I'm gonna get 100%? She says, yes, we do. We're very adamant about it. It took some time, but sure enough, I wound up getting 100% plus. Every time I run into a veteran, I ask them, what percentage disability are you? And they tell me, I said, I'll tell you what, you jot down this number, you call Woods and Woods. I told them what they did for me. And they said, are you serious? I said, yeah, I'm serious. I said, call them. I hope to God they listen and just do something because they need to. They need to take care of their families and themselves. To this day, I'm dumbfounded. I can't believe the benefits that I missed all these years. Woods and Woods does, and they know what to do, and they listen, and they do nothing but bust their rear ends to help veterans. And I can't thank them enough for what they've done.